Okay, welcome into KC Sports Tonight, Tuesday, May 26th. Marlia Campbell here with Katie Marr. A lot to talk about today, but we're going to start with a pretty wild milestone for the Chiefs. They kicked off OTAs today, organized team activities, which are voluntary workouts for the team. We will get to see them in action for the first time on Thursday. That's when the Chiefs have kind of like an open media viewing window of practice. We'll hear from Andy Reid and a couple players. A lot to talk about on Thursday, but we'll start with today, which is the Chiefs kind of gave some hints as to what happened today via their social media. Chris Jones was in attendance. They posted him kind of walking into the facility. I think George Karlaftis was another guy, featured Kenneth Walker.
He had some crazy shorts on.
He did. Kenneth Walker, the reigning Super Bowl MVP, who has seemingly put on a lot of muscle coming into Kansas City. And then, star of the show, Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs, about 20 minutes ago, posted a video of him passing, wearing a pretty hefty knee brace. Important to note, this portion of OTAs, or this portion of the offseason, I suppose, phase 2, is no contact, no offense versus defense. So it's really just kind of like implementing ideals and doing some X's and O's and some light drills and those sort of things. But it's the first time that the team is together. And Katie, we are less than 6 months from when Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL, and he's throwing a football, which is certainly a good sign. Your thoughts on just what we know about day one before kind of the big day for us, which is on Thursday?
Yeah, I mean, we heard from Andy Reid during rookie minicamp. Someone asked him, what do you expect? Any update on Mahomes? Do you expect him to be here for OTAs? And he said he did expect him to be here. So it's not much of a surprise that he's there, but it is crazy to see him doing what he's doing. Like, if you haven't gone to the Chiefs Twitter, Instagram, or whatever and looked that up, like, go look it up, because he's twisting his knee around and stuff, and like, I'm cringing a little bit watching it just because I'm like, don't twist it. But I mean, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I think we knew that Patrick Mahomes was gonna attack his rehab like no one else in the league would, because we know that that's just the work ethic that he has as the one of the league's top quarterbacks. So not really much of a surprise, I guess, but still kind of a surprise because he tore his ACL
5.5 months ago. Yeah. I think it's important to not underreact, because that is a big deal, but also not to overreact, because being able to go through non-contact motion drills is very different from what he will need to be doing in 111 days from now, which is the Chiefs opener. By the way, I looked up like how many days until the Chiefs opener. I knew it was September 14th. 111 days actually kind of sounds like a long time.
It does. One World Cup and it won't sound like that.
Yeah, I was guessing about 7 weeks. But still, big milestone. Again, teams working out the next 2 days. Our big Super Bowl of OTAs, I suppose, is on Thursday, getting to see who's there. One of the questions we are going to be talking about is, of course, Rashee Rice, who will not be at OTAs, presumably. He is currently dealing with legal consequences, so we're not expecting, obviously, to see him on Thursday. So I would say that and the Mahomes status update are the big 2 storylines I'm watching heading into the week. It'll also be fun to see some of the rookies. We saw them at rookie minicamp, but it's kind of like, when you're in high school and they had like an all freshman day, and then the second day was like when everyone, it's a big day, big week for them too.
You have to imagine like all the rookies are kind of like looking around.
And it's going to be, I think there's 90 and change players on the roster right now. It's going to be cut to 53 in, what did I say, 111 days,
4 months?
Less than that. Yeah. Obviously not the day of the game. So yeah, really our first kind of hurrah into the offseason. The Chiefs actually only do 6 OTAs. Other teams, like I think I saw the Chargers are doing 10. Chiefs kind of have their offseason rhythm down under Andy Reid. They'll do 2 rounds of 3 workouts. Then they have mandatory minicamp June 9th through 11th. As the name implies, that one is not optional. Yes. Then they'll get a bit of a break, which happens to fall over the World Cup, and the late July TBD dates. And Travis Kelce's wedding. Oh my gosh, I kind of forgot that was happening. Late July, TBD, will be training camp in St. Joe. And then we roll right into the season, which is wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but this is the first kind of like domino to fall in my mind of getting into the real thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to go to Katie. This was your story today. I loved this idea. I love that you did this story. KU hosting a historic first ever NCAA Regional on Friday. However, Hogland Ballpark only fits about 2,500 people right now. Yeah. Tell us about what you learned today.
And technically, the ballpark is still only going to fit 2,500 people.
Huh.
They're adding their seating to get it to 4,000 total, which it's basically all on the outside of the stadium. So the in-stadium capacity is staying the same at 2,500 with chairbacks and bench seats. But they're adding, if you've seen, you can go ahead to my Twitter. I put some videos of it today. They're adding the backyard, as they've dubbed it. And actually, while I was there today, Dan Fitzgerald walked over and was saying hi to someone and said hi to us. And, you know, someone mentioned, oh, we're doing this story or whatever. And he motioned to the backyard, and he didn't call it the backyard at first. And Fitz was like, the backyard. So he wants everyone to know it's the backyard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what they're calling it. It's a bring your own lawn chair type of deal. And you would think, well, why can't they just put bleachers out there? That would make so much more sense. Then you actually look at there and you see there are an abundance of trees there. So they just really couldn't fit any bleachers back there. They told me they were going to have, you know, a few seating options, which I imagine might maybe just be more for like the ADA, you know, accommodation type thing, maybe for some older vans. But for the most part, that they expect to fit 1,000 fans back there. And that's going to be all lawn chairs. You know, I don't know if you want to bring a picnic blanket, but they're also going to have along the third baseline behind where the visiting bullpen used to be, they have transformed it into more fan seating, and that is going to have a bleacher, a temporary bleacher. And then there's a giant tent, and that is supposed to be standing room only, but they also expect to have some like high chair seating and like, you know, food, drink service in there as well. So kind of like a fun little hangout area. But yeah, the rest of that stadium capacity stays the same with 2,500 in, but with the extra 1,500, they expect to do 4,000. KU baseball has kind of just been getting all the jabs on like Twitter for the past day or day and a half since it was announced they would have a regional, because people are just now seeing this, you know, it's not the best ballpark in college baseball.
Small, yeah.
I don't think I'm like being problematic by saying that. It's just not. And that's, the thing you have to remember here is that KU baseball is not like a perennial powerhouse in college baseball. Like, this is all very new for them. This is their first regular season Big 12 title in 77 years. It's their first time winning the tournament in decades. This wasn't expected. Dan Fitzgerald's only in his third year, or third or fourth year. So this wasn't expected. This wasn't a ballpark that was expected to have a regional this year. I have to imagine that if things go well after this weekend, they're going to be making long-term changes. But they do like the idea, they told me, of making the backyard like a possible permanent thing in the future for fans to do.
That's cool.
But they're also going to have some enhanced fan experience outside of that. They're expanding the concourses, so they're going to have more concessions, more restrooms. And then they're also going to have the Crimson Club open for the entire weekend. So fans can come and go through Allen Fieldhouse, through Gate 13, which is literally just right across the parking lot, very short walk. You can just walk right in. You can buy food, drinks, air conditioning, just stand in there or avoid the rain if, God forbid, there is any. And they're going to have TVs up in there watching the games that are going on there, watching the games going on around the country. So you can also do that if you don't even have a ticket for the games. So they're trying really hard to make this a good thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say, kudos to them for, on a very short timeline, doing, I would imagine, everything they can to give as many people an opportunity to see this as possible. Let's talk a little bit about their draw. Katie, I know you and I were talking about this in the sports office. A tough one for hosting. You got Arkansas. Looking at the rest of the kind of pool there, your thoughts on where the Jayhawks landed in the selection process?
Yeah, for me, I'm not too concerned about the other two teams in there. I mean, obviously, it's the postseason and you never know what's going to happen, but Northeastern and Missouri State. I mean, Missouri State does have a bit of a, not home field advantage, but I do imagine their fans will probably travel decently.
They have to be thrilled about that draw, yeah.
They're only 3 hours away. So it's a good draw for Missouri State, of course. But, you know, I'm not overly concerned about that. I'm concerned about Arkansas. First and foremost, just because KU seems to be like plagued by taking on Arkansas in the postseason in every sport ever and losing to them. So the poor Jayhawks, like, I feel like, especially basketball fans, like, you have to look at this and be like, oh my God, not again. So, I mean, that stinks first and foremost, but also Arkansas is just, it's one of those perennial powerhouses in college baseball that we talk about. If you watch the college baseball selection show, you would know that, like, pretty much every team that's hosting of the 16 this weekend are in the SEC, a few Big Ten sprinkled in there, UCLA being the dominant number one team in the country, but for the most part, it's the SEC, and Arkansas is one of those teams that felt like they should have been a host because they've had a great season and they are a really good team. So KU drawing Arkansas is not very favorable in my opinion. And it stinks that KU fell to the 15 overall seed spot, and then West Virginia was right after them at 16. It kind of just felt like the committee was like, we just have to throw in 2 Big 12 teams in here, I guess, because Big 12 champions and the other team that was just as good as them all year. So, yeah, that kind of stinks for KU after the season they had, and the thrilling comebacks they've had and how gritty this team is. Like, you want them to get a better draw than that, so it kind of just stinks that they did.
I've been off the last week or so, and I've gotten several messages from folks asking about the stadium issue. I want your top, like, 2 or 3 takeaways for someone who'd never been to a KU baseball game before, that's thinking about going on Friday, what they need to know, what they should know, and what they have to look forward to.
I would say first and foremost, I'm very impressed by the fact that the Crimson Club is a thing and it's open to everybody. Like, you don't have to pay to get in. So I think that's awesome because in between, like, they have to clear out the stadium in between each game throughout the day. So that's a perfect place for fans to just go to. It's going to be hot this weekend, so, like, the air conditioning, like, I think that's a really awesome inclusion by them.
What does the Crimson Club look like?
It's beautiful. It was my first time in it today.
Yeah.
It's just like a big, spacious, open room with tons of tables, couches, a bunch of TVs on the wall, very nicely set up. There's giant bar areas and, like, food, like, kitchen setups. So it's pretty stacked in there. Like, it's kind of a newer thing from my understanding that they're trying to open up to basketball fans, but, like,
I've walked by it before. I've never been in. Yes. Yeah.
So I think it's cool that they're opening up to everybody. You don't have to pay to get in. So number one, that's going to be a cool ad because, again, fans do have to leave in between games, and they're not going to want to be outside all day long. It's going to be hot this weekend. Number two, I think if you can get one of the in-stadium seats, I think you should, unless you're cool with, like, you know, pulling up the lawn chair and watching from, like, it's far back and it's not far up. So I do think that the best vantage point is going to be from inside the stadium. So if you want to go, do your best to get one of those seats. That's a chair back or a bench. And third, I mean, I think the fact that they're adding more restrooms and concessions,
little things like that, yeah.
Because I've been to a lot of KU baseball games and covered them, and, like, there's, like, 2 bathrooms in there, so that's not great. And so I'm impressed by the fact that they are really stepping up, and they're owning the fact that it's not the best ballpark in America, and they're working to, like, do what they can to just make it a good experience. I think it'll be a great experience. And also, I left out. Tailgating is allowed.
Oh, yeah.
Tailgating not usually allowed there, and it's allowed this weekend, so you can all tailgate there.
That's cool. Yeah, no, they're doing a great job with the cards they were dealt and the facility and the existing infrastructure they have and turning it around in a short amount of time. Friday. Okay, let's move on to Royals-Yankees. We got a game coming up in about 55 minutes if you're watching this live with us. Heading into the homestand, Royals had lost 9 of 10. They are now 2-2 between the Mariners series and a loss to the Yankees. Well, let's start with this. If you're heading out to this, speaking of fan experiences today, Pasquatch Day at the K. There is a Pasquatch bobblehead giveaway to the first 20,000 fans tonight. Pretty good odds if you're headed out that way. There is also something called this is a real thing, the Sack Squatch post-game concert.
I read about
Did you know about
last
this?
night. Because I'm going to the game after I'm done for the day here, and I was looking at the ticket promos and all that stuff, and I was like,
the Sack Squatch.
I had to read it a few times. I was like, Sax?
Yeah, I know. I was nervous about saying that.
Is he going to just play the saxophone?
Unfortunately, here it is. Because first I thought, is Vinny going to do that? And then I thought, well, is the guy in the Pasquatch costume, or just, Pasquatch, is he doing that? No, it is experience the mythical music sensation Sasquatch at rival sports bar right behind right field after the game. That's all we got. So maybe a reason to go on its own is to figure out what that is. But
I'm gonna be there, and I'm very excited.
Please report back. Yep, we'll take that update. Baseball wise, though, Royals, I guess, went back to a little lukewarm with taking the series against the Mariners, barely. But overall, things are obviously not going well. Katie, what are you looking for tonight? Where are you kind of at with the state of how this team's doing?
Yeah, I want to see them come back and even tie up the series with the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees are a team that, like, I said this on here yesterday with Mark, like, they're one of the highest paid teams in baseball. They're a team that's
had built, it last night, too. Yeah, it was brutal.
They're a team that's built to do that, though, in the bottom of the ninth inning and, like, shock people. And then even just the game before on Sunday that they played, like, Aaron Judge hit a walk-off two-run homer. So, like, they're playing a tough team. They're playing a good team, but I think it would be really big for Royals fans and just their confidence in this team going forward and just their ability to care about the team going forward almost. Because, like, I think we've talked on here, like, a few times, like, in the past few weeks since the Royals have kind of started to decline again. Like, with the World Cup and everything happening in Kansas City, like, if the Royals keep going down this road, they're almost at risk of becoming a little bit like, why would fans care?
And this is where we were the last couple of years, prior to the last 2 years ago when they made the playoffs, last year when they were in the race in August still. We get to Memorial Day weekend, it's like, okay, well. Yeah. And granted, you still have time, and yes, teams have done crazier things before, but no, you're right. It's relevancy. It's still filling out stadiums. It's getting people interested and keeping them interested into the kind of the tail part of the season and not being an afterthought come June.
Yeah, and even yesterday when the Yankees, like, walked it off, like, I was listening to the broadcast and I felt like I could hear just an overwhelming amount of cheers.
Just like a collective sigh in the background.
And, like, they were overpowering the Royals fans, and I'm like, Royals fans, tonight you got to show up and, like, let them know this is your stadium. I know, like, Yankee fans are everywhere. They're probably the most historic, storied team in all of baseball, so their fans are all over the place. But, like, Royals fans tonight, I mean, the weather's beautiful. You got to show up.
Pack Squatch night. Okay.
Pack Squatch night. There's a concert after the game.
Which I am actually, if there's a reason to go, it is for that. Yes. Royals 10 games below 500, 9 games back in the AL Central. Something to celebrate, though. Tomorrow, Bobby Witt Jr. is being honored in a pregame ceremony for winning the Lou Gehrig Memorial Award. Oh. So that will be really cool. Neil Jones will be covering that. And hopefully, tonight goes well, and we're looking for a series win as well. Okay. Last topic we have for today is the Mavericks. Mavericks last year made it to the Western Conference Finals. Before they lost, they did not make the Kelly Cup Finals. Right now, they have a 2-1 lead heading into tonight's game in Illinois against the Comets. That one's at 6:35. And a real opportunity these next 2 games are going to be on the road. So if you win them both, you take the best of 7 series and you move on and make a little bit of Mavericks history and have a really fun week in Kansas City, a couple of weeks, with the Kelly Cup Finals being held here. I was at that, I think it was 2 years ago they played in the Kelly Cup Finals. And that was my first ever in-person hockey game growing up in Kansas City. It's not something that's around here very much. Yeah. So fun. It was such a good time. They sold out, as they do all the time, over at Cable Dahmer Arena in Independence. So, 2-1 lead. You got 2 games on the road. If you drop one of them, the series comes back to Kansas City, and those games will be on KSMO. But fingers crossed. Of course, we'd love to have them on KSMO. Fingers crossed. They're not, because they win 2 in a row on the road here and bit of a break before the Kelly Cup Finals.
And you know who would love that more than anybody on planet
Mark
Earth?
Palos.
The biggest Mavericks fan in the
loves
land.
Covering, and who can blame him? Mark loves going to Mavs practice. I wonder if I don't see him in our office, otherwise I'd make him jump on the show.
He's a good luck charm, because
I know.
Neil is a bad luck charm. Neil went on Saturday, that's when they lost.
Yeah.
So Neil's not allowed to go to Mavericks games anymore. It's only allowed to be
Mark's good luck charm. He's a diehard, and he has a lot of reason to cheer. Again, this team, 2-1 lead, barely dropped that one that apparently Neil was at just learning. Because I think the last game he went to, too, they lost. But
when he called it Cable Daimler Arena.
Did he? That's funny. Oh, Neil. So fingers crossed tonight's a good one. And again, best case scenario, you take the series 4-1, you come home and you have a bit of a break before gearing up for an important postseason finale here in Kansas City, which would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We have so much to look forward to in Kansas City. Even on this show, we talked about the Chiefs offseason getting officially rolling, what KU baseball is doing this weekend, which is historic. We're going to skip over the Royals, Mavericks, and then, of course, the World Cup. Coming up the United States named its men's national team roster today. Yeah. 26 guys, 13 of them are going to be first-year players in the World Cup. Their first game is June 12th?
Yeah. Whatever, Saturday?
16 days from here.
Friday or Saturday?
Yeah. One of those. At SoFi Stadium, although I'm assuming they're calling it something else, like we're doing with Arrowhead.
Los Angeles Stadium.
Los Inglewood Stadium.
I don't even know.
But yeah, it really has felt like we've blinked and now we're here. And then we roll straight into training camp and then...
well, actually, they're calling MetLife Stadium New York, New Jersey Stadium.
Really?
Which is,
so
I was
California
told
Stadium?
this the other day, which is like ridiculous because it's in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I was also told the other day that apparently FIFA is like rolling out or giving out a like opportunity, like a giveaway of like cheaper tickets for games, but only for New York residents.
Oh.
And I have some family
and
in New
I was going to say you're from that area, so I'm sure people love that. Yeah.
And they're like, wait, the stadium's in New Jersey. Why are we only doing this for New York residents? So, a little suspicious there.
Here before you know it, which is crazy. It really has felt like we have been counting this down for years now, as we have, and now we're 2 weeks away. So, no matter what sport you cheer for, we have postseason action coming to Kansas City. It feels like before you know it. That'll do it for us here on KC Sports Tonight. Katie is off to the Yankees game, and we'll report back on what the pack squatch is. And we will see you back here same time, same place tomorrow.